Hey, what's good people? I am Travell C.W. Lynch, Mr. What, your self-worth specialist, and I want to welcome you guys into the I Am the Possible podcast experience. Yes, this is the place where possibilities become, that's right, perspective, guys. This is season two, the season two kickoff. I am so excited and I'm so grateful for you joining me in this experience, in this moment, for you tuning in, if you're watching or if you're listening, however you're connecting with me. I am so grateful for you, for your life, for your presence, for the person, for the very existence, right? Right, for your very existence. I am so grateful for you, and I am just excited about this new season. So, guys, listen, I don't want to delay it one moment. I want to jump right into this content. I want to jump right into today's episode, today's experience, and I want to start off by asking you a question. Have you ever felt trapped? Have you ever felt trapped? I know many times in my life I have felt trapped, like I didn't have a choice, like I didn't have the power to choose, like I didn't have any say in the matter. I felt like my back was against the wall. I felt like things were the way they were. And whether it was God against me, someone else against me, my boss against me, my coworkers, my wife, my children, just life itself, right? I mean, even me, right? I was my own worst enemy. But I can identify with someone who's been in a place or who is in a place where you feel trapped. Like you just can't get out of this rut. Like you can't change. You can't move forward. Like your feet, like they're stuck in the sand, man. Like you're stuck in the mud, and you try to take one step forward, and it feels like you're falling two steps back, right? So I don't know. Are you in that place right now? Because if you're in that place right now, today's episode, today's experience is dedicated to you. I want you to know something right out the gate, guys, right out the gate. And I know that it may challenge your current thinking, but that's what we're here for, right? To be able to present ideas of transcendent thought, ideas that invoke transcendent thought. This whole platform, this entire podcast, it is dedicated, it is devoted to presenting to you ideas, right? Innovative ideas, things that spark the imagination, things that cultivate transcendent thought, thoughts that take you beyond where you are. And sometimes before we can change in the physical, we got to change in the mental, we got to change in the spiritual. So I'm going to, give you something right out the gate. You have currently, current tense, right now, not tomorrow, not later, not someday down the road. You possess it, the power to choose and to change. You have the power to choose and to change. Now, I know that that may contradict what you feel, but remember, feelings are temporary. Feelings come and go. But what God has established in you and for you, that is eternal. Emotions come and go. Emotions are like roller coasters. Sometimes you're high, right? Sometimes you're low. Sometimes you're on the come up. Sometimes you're on the free fall drop, right? You guys get where I'm going with this, right? Right? Right. So no matter where you are on your roller coaster of emotions, I want you to begin to, let's see, welcome, let's say, give opportunity to, let's say, give a chance to this idea that you have a choice currently to choose and to change wherever you are, both mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Just you don't have to you don't have to embrace it right away, right? Because it takes some time, right, for this thing to really soak in and for you to really really embody it. But I just want you to, that's my word, that's the word that I was looking for, entertain it. Just entertain it, right? Just like anything else, right? You entertain something, you give it a little chance, you give it an opportunity to sit on you, right? To marinate, right? Let it marinate, let that idea marinate. You have the power to choose and to change. Now you may feel, that's why I used that word earlier, you may feel stuck. Do you feel trapped? Do you feel like you have no choice in the matter? Do you feel like you have no voice in the matter? Do you feel like things will never change? Do you feel like things will never get better? Do you feel like that person in your life that keeps getting on your nerve, they'll never change, they'll never transform, they'll never get out of your way, they'll always be a pest, they'll always be someone who gets at you? Do you just feel like you're out of control of your life and you have no choice and you're not able to choose? You're not able to change. You're not able to see or to have or to be or to do or to think or to say anything different than what you've always engaged in. If that's you guys, today's episode, it is for you. Now, I want to jump right into this because today's episode, this week's episode, it is all about empowering you, equipping you with the what I consider like the baseline tools, right? The baseline tools, the things that you must have right out of the gate. Okay. So if you're watching, let me kind of come back to the live video. Okay. So before we get into all of the other practices, before we get into all of the how-tos, before we get into all of the other steps and the things that we must do in order to realize, remember, you have the power to choose, you have the power to change. This is about awareness. This is about you becoming aware of what you already have. See, right now this word transformation, excuse me, is very, very popular in the world. Transformation, transformation. I want transformation. I want my life to transform. I want, yada, yada, yada. This word transformation is nothing more than awareness. Okay. It's nothing more than awareness. It's nothing more than you becoming aware of what already exists. It's truly you getting out of your own way. It's truly about you just becoming aware and you beginning to see, right? That's why I believe God blessed me with the vision and blessed me with the mission of being a place where your possibilities, what's possible for you, that becomes your perspective, that becomes the lenses in which you view life, that becomes the way that you see things. And I'm going to get into that in just a moment. Okay, I want to be your example. I want to be that embodiment for you, someone that you can look to, someone that you can draw from and pull from and say, okay, well, if that dude could do it, then I can do it. If God would do it for that dude, then God will certainly do it for me. Okay, so I want you to understand that transformation is nothing more than awareness. It's you becoming acutely aware of what already is, of what already exists, of what God, because I'm going to always point you back to God. It's never going to be just about me. I may embody some things, I may say some things, I may have some, cool things to say or to share, but ultimately, man, I'm going to point you back to the source, to God, because he's the one that's dropping bombs. He's the one that drops the mic. He's the one that's really saying and doing these things, okay? So if you see anything good in me, just remember, it's really him, okay? Let's give all that credit and all that glory back to him. So transformation is nothing more than awareness. And so this is about you becoming aware that you have the power, which by definition is nothing more than the ability to move things. You have the power to choose. That means you have a voice in the matter. You have a choice, free will God gave us. Let us create man in our likeness and our image and let him be like us in the earth. So you've been given a God mandate, a God directive, a God privilege to be like your creator in the earth. That means you have free will. That means you have choice. He'll never take it away. He will never, backslide on his promise. He gave us dominion and authority and choice in this earth. So we can choose. That's right, man. You got a choice, right? And you got the choice to then choose. So if you're not where you want to be, if you're not doing what you want to do, if you're not thinking the way you want to think, if you're not saying the things that you want to say, if you're not engaged in the things that you want to be engaged in, if you're not physically in the place where you want to be, if you're not physically in the place, if you're not financially in the place, if you're not emotionally in the place, if you're not spiritually in the place, I don't care what place you name, you can choose. I'm gonna keep saying that you have a choice. You have the power to choose and you have the power to change. Now, how do we go about this? Because I feel you. I feel you. I don't have time today because I really want to dial into these concepts and really dial into providing you the information that you need. So I won't belabor. I won't go chasing rabbits and going down trails. But I can tell you guys, as one who grew up in the inner city, as one who grew up doing everything that you could possibly do to lose his life, I'm speaking about myself. If I could drink it, I drunk it. If I could smoke it, I smoked it. If I could do it, I've done it. And I know that God, by his grace and mercy, completely saved and preserved my life, because I know the things that I was wrapped up in, man. I could have lost my life so many times. I've had guns put to my head, put to my back. I've had knives put to my throat. Right? You guys may have heard the testimony where I had a gun put to my head and homeboy pulled the trigger, but the bullet didn't come out. Man, I got a million stories where I was at the edge of death, and as we say, I shouldn't be here, but yet I should be here because I have a purpose. I should be here because God has a plan for my life. And just as confidently as I can say that about myself, I say that about you. You're here because you have a purpose. You're here because God has a plan for your life. You're here because he needs you. Okay? So I can feel you. If you feel trapped, just know that I feel you. And that's why I'm going heavy on this thing. That's why I'm devoting myself to this thing, because, and we're going to be talking about this more in part two. Actually, I didn't share that in the beginning. This is actually part one. Okay, next week there's going to be a part two where I'm going to really break down what it is that this platform is really, really going to do for you this year, or in this next season. Well, actually, overall, obviously, right? But just really dialing into this next season. But I want you to understand that I understand you. I didn't just read a book. I didn't go to college and take some courses. I didn't just pay for a seminar or some presentation somewhere. I've lived this. As we say, I've been there and I've done that. And I can feel you. Okay, I feel your pain. I feel the suffering. I feel just the spirit of desperation. I feel the anger and the confusion, because many times, man, I'm feeling it myself. Right? I'm not too far removed from this thing. I just got a podcast and I'm just sharing some things with you, but it's not that I'm out of the weeds and that my life is so glorious and rainbows and what I'm saying, unicorns and all this other crap, man. Nah, man, life is difficult, but I'm just encouraged based upon what I've learned to really be to really be a encourager to those who are suffering in the same way. Okay, so just wanted to really lay that groundwork for you guys, to really let you guys know that I'm in this thing with you guys. All right, man. So let's jump into some of these practical tools. So how does transformation happen? How do we become greater? How do we increase our awareness? How do we get a greater sense, a greater awareness of this power that we have? Because if you feel stuck, you need to know you ain't got to stay like this. You need to know that no, things can change, and in fact things will change when you begin to take the proper steps. Okay, faith without works is dead. Number one, you got to have the faith that you can choose and that you can change, and then there has to be some action, some corresponding actions, some actions that align right with your desired end. Okay, so today I'm gonna just give you some baseline mental jewels, right? Some mental meals, right? Feed the mind, feed the brain with some information that you need to let soak in and let marinate on your mind. All right, let that marinate on your mind. Okay, guys, here it is. Change and knowing that you can change begins with environment. begins with environment. You ever hear that term? I'm just a product of my environment. I've not always embraced that concept, but I get it. I get it now. And this is the reason why. On the screen, if you're watching, and of course, I'm going to share it if you're just listening to the podcast, I've got 5 progressions, right? That really get us to the place where we're thinking and living and we're operating out of a specific framework of life. Number 1, the environment. Now, for my own life, let me just give you a really quick one. I grew up in an environment of violence. My mother always got boyfriends that beat on her, called her out her name, disrespected her. In the early and, for the majority of my mother's life, soon after having me, when we moved to Toledo, she got wrapped up in drugs and alcohol and got into the streets. Now, long story short, she ended her life as a woman of God in the church, in the choir. So it ended well before she passed away. But I want to share with you when I was growing up, right? The environment that I grew up in, the environment that at that formative years, right? In those formative years, what I was exposed to was a environment, right? An environment of violence, of chaos, of one that had a lot of fear in it, one that had a lot of drama and trauma, and just a lot of images of, man, just seeing her beat, seeing her cussed out, seeing her, treated like that, and just the guys, I was just a young boy. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't defend my mother. That led to a lot of pain. That led to a lot of suffering, man. That led to a lot of fear in my life. You feel me? And so in that environment, it cultivated certain things that I won't get into today, right? I'm going to unpack it this entire season, right? Because this is a lot of inner work, a lot of mental work. But let me just say that through that environment, I became, extremely isolated and fearful in my own life, very defensive in my own life. Okay, so I wanted to share that because if you feel trapped today, you have to consider, what's your environment? What has been your environment? Where do you live, literally, physically? Because that's going to lead to a lot of where you live, right? Mentally. Your head is a home, okay? Your head is a home. You have a mental residence. So where you live physically through these 5 progressions will ultimately lead to where you live mentally and spiritually. Okay. So if you don't feel like you can change, the first thing that I want you to do is take inventory of your environment. Where do you literally live? Where do you most frequent, as we say, or where do you go a lot, right? Where do you spend a bulk of your time? That's going to lead to number 2 on my list here, elements. Wherever you are, whatever environment you're in, it's going to have certain elements. Now, going back to my example, because I was in a home of violence and drug use, the elements that I bumped up against was, or what I was exposed to, right? I was exposed to these elements was drug paraphernalia, alcohol, bottles, weed, crack cocaine, guns. You feel me? I was exposed to those elements. Listening to people fight, listening to doors slammed, right? It was crazy, man. It was crazy. Okay, so understand, your environment then exposes you to elements. What are the elements within your environment? Now, based on those elements, number 3 here, there's going to be encounters. You're going to be, things are going to rub up against you. They're going to rub off on you. If you're just in that environment, pretty soon they're going to influence you. They're going to rub off on you. Okay, you got to understand that. So if you want to understand that you can change, you got to begin to change your environment, which then changes your elements, the things that you're exposed to, which then changes your encounters in life, which are your influencers in life. And guess what? Number 4, that then leads to experiences. Experiences are extremely impactful. I'm going to be sharing more of those in my own personal life and my wife's life and my children's life in part 2 of this next week, because I really want to break down those experiences. They really impact you, right? You go from encounters that influence to experiences that impact. They leave a dent, man. They leave a trench within your mind. They really touch you when you can literally experience something. That's why, again, this is the I Am the Possible podcast experience. See how it's starting to all tie together? I am very intentional. By God's grace, I've become extremely intentional about what it is that I'm creating, because I want you to experience something. I want you to experience the world of possibilities that lives within you, but you must become aware of the world in order to enter the world, in order for you to embrace the world, in order for you to take advantage of the world. You got to be aware that the world is even there. And a part of that world is a world where you, yeah, I'm talking to you. Let me go back to the screen here if you're watching me. Yeah, I'm talking to you. You right there. You in this new world of possibilities, you have a choice and you can change. That's right. That's good news, man. That's good news. All right, let's go back to my slide here. The next one is expressions. Through the environment, you bump up against elements which have influence. Elements that then lead to encounters. The encounters have influence that lead to experiences. The experiences have impact that lead to expressions. Your expressions. You are expressing the version of you. I'm gonna use that word. I've always kind of like not gotten into the new version of you kind of language, because I've always kind of had a little bit of an issue with it, because listen, this is I am the possible. I don't have another version of myself. I am the possibilities that lie within me. But listen, I'm gonna save that for another day, because I'm starting to understand the way people see it, which is all that matters. So I'll use the word version. You are currently expressing the version of you that has been cultivated through the experiences that you had, which were indicative of the encounters that you had, which came about because of the elements that you were exposed to, which came about because of the environment that you've been living in. Guys, it's simple, but it's not. But it is. Okay? It's simple because it's very boom, 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 step by step. But it's very not simple because we have been trained through our environment over many years. Many of us probably 15 years, 20 years, 30 years or more. And so now we have a mindset. Your mind is set on what you believe and what you think and how you feel based upon these, 5 elements. These are 5 things. And so that's the real work. It's not that it's not possible. It's not that it's not there. It's not that I can't lay it out for you very easily. It's, you retraining, right? My mentor, shout out to Kenichi Yoshida. In the Eastern culture, we learn this concept of unlearning, right? We, in the Western culture, we're all about obtaining and acquiring more knowledge, but there's this concept of unlearning some things. So a part of the transformation, a part of not feeling trapped, a part of getting free is unlearning those behaviors, unlearning those mindsets, unlearning those frameworks, unlearning those perspectives that no longer serve you, that no longer work for you. It's the unlearning of those things. Okay, I pray that makes sense. All right, guys, let's get into this next one here. Just got a few more slides. All right. I've kind of already alluded to it. And I'm just going to kind of recap it again. The I Am the Possible podcast experience, guys. This is the place. Emphasis is on place. The place where possibilities become perspective. This is the place where when you enter into this moment, you listen to an episode, you listen to an experience. We want to become a place where your possibilities, everything that God has created you with and for, it becomes what you see. Literally, the lenses in which you view your life. That's our intention, okay? That's our intention. That's why I like to use this magnifying glass, right? To begin to, really illustrate, guys. Let's deep dive. Let's investigate. Let's look closely at what you are and who you are and what you have and what God has already done in your life and what's already available to you. So I want you to understand that as much as you have the ability to choose and you have the ability to change. Look, last season, this wasn't our tagline. Last season, this wasn't our mission. Last season, this wasn't what we were talking about. But through my time away, through prayer, through fasting, through connecting with God, he refreshed, he revived the mission, he revived the purpose. And so now I'm coming out the gate with a change. He said, Travell, you got the power to choose, man. You can choose what you want to create with this platform. It can be whatever you want it to be. There are no rules to this. You podcast how you want to podcast. And so I said, Lord, well, I want to glorify you with it, right? I want to bless you with it, right? I want it to be impactful and meaningful, and I want the glory to go back to you with it. And so he said, okay, you're gonna be my oasis. You're gonna be my resource. You're gonna be my place. And when people tap into that, when they connect with you, when they connect with this I Am the Possible family, when they connect with this platform, when they connect with your courses, with your materials, they're gonna be getting to see some things, man, that they ain't never seen before. And so guys, I want you to know that this ain't just a platform, this ain't just a podcast, it's a place. It's a place for you and your possibilities. Okay. Got a few more things that I want to share, and then we're going to wrap it up because I believe I've kind of already said what I wanted to say in this kickoff of season 2. Emphasis on you have the power to choose and you have the power to change, right? Because God has given that to you. And it's only about you becoming conscious. It's about you becoming aware of what has led you to your current feelings of being trapped and what's led you to your current perspective, maybe, of yourself not having the power or the authority, and then being able to take advantage of those things over time to retrain the mind and to let go of some things that no longer serve and to unlearn. That's right, to unlearn all of that junk that's been holding you back. Okay, guys, I have on my screen, if you're watching, our mission statement. It's kind of long, but I've already began to memorize it. But I just wanted to spell it out so that you can see it, and maybe you can go back and play it again and watch it again. But just let it really soak in, because I want you to be very clear as to what it is you're getting here. You can listen. There's thousands, hundreds of thousands of podcasts. But I want you to be clear about what it is that we're intending to do, our intention here, and what we're all about here. So number one, our mission, it is to encourage the envisioning, emphasis on envisioning, being able to see, being able to cultivate an idea, an image, a picture of you, of the possibilities, being able to envision something that is beyond where you currently are, those transcendent thoughts. Okay. So our mission is to encourage the envisioning, the embracing, and the expression of one's possibilities through the teaching of innovative ideas. That's my job, to present those innovative ideas. That's God's job, to download those ideas for me to then share and to teach upon. But these innovative ideas that invoke, spark, and bring about transcendent thoughts. It's about going beyond. Everything starts with a thought. Everything starts with an idea. If you can think it, man, if you can just think it. As a man thinks, so is he. You are as you think. Your thoughts don't make you anything different than God's creation and God's contribution. That's what you are. But the way that you come off, the way that you get in your feelings, the way that you're right, it determines your mood, it determines your character, it determines the way that you come across to other people. It will determine your energy, right? That's what your thoughts do. So I want to present ideas that will invoke and cultivate these transcendent, transformative thoughts concerning who? Concerning yourself, you, God, other people, and get this, and the struggles that we endure as members of humanity. I want you to think about your struggles differently, right? Not just you, God, other people. I want you to think, I want your thoughts to be transcendent concerning your struggles. To begin to see your struggles differently in a way where they work for you and not against you, right? I hope and pray that that makes sense, guys. All right, I think I got one or two more slides. Okay, actually, that was the last slide. Okay, let's get into this. All right, guys, let me switch back here for those who are watching. Today's episode, today's experience was dedicated and is dedicated to those of us who are feeling trapped, who are feeling like we have no control, no say in the matter, back is against the wall, can't change, can't choose, can't do anything. You feel hopeless. You feel desperate. You may even be depressed. Let's just keep it real, right? With the mental health issues. Guys, this is a kickoff. I couldn't add it all. I couldn't break it all down. I couldn't include everything. That's why we have weekly episodes. I do pray that this has inspired you. It has awakened you. It has imparted something to you that will stick, that will last. Go back, play it again. Go back, listen to it again, and let it marinate on your mind, right? Remember that your head is your home. Let's clean house, baby. Let's clean house of all those things that cause you to feel like you can't choose, like you can't change. Okay? All right. A few more things before we get up out of here. Guys, I have a free masterclass over at iamthepossible.com. Head over to iamthepossible.com. Get your free masterclass today. The one that's there now will not be the last. I will continue to provide excellent material free, okay? Giving it away free, right? I want it to get out there. I want it to influence, impact, impart. I want it to bless you, okay? We have some classes that are going to be for fee, but I'm going to continue to provide classes that are free. So head over right now and get your free masterclass. The one that's posted right now is the What's My Worth Masterclass. And that one is the bedrock of everything. I'm going to be doing like a 2.0, pretty soon here to kind of update the material and kind of add to it. And, but that is the bedrock. You have to know what you are. Earlier, I mentioned it. You are creation. You are God's creation, and you are God's contribution. Okay. Your life represents an idea. The only reason that you're here is because you are literally an idea. You began in the mind, in the thoughts, in the imagination of God. He thought of you. Let us create man in our likeness and our image. He thought of you, and that's the reason that you're here. But I want you to get really built up on your worth, man. Really know that you're worth it. Really know that you're worth the fight. You're worth the struggle, that your life matters, that you got some value in this world, right? You got to believe that it's possible for you. Because I can give you all the steps and tricks and tips. I can give you all the success systems in the world, right? But it ain't going to mean a hill of beans, as they used to say, unless you believe that you're worth it, unless you believe that you matter, okay? So head over to iamthepossible.com and get your free masterclass, get built up in yourself. Number 2, prayer requests, guys. If you have a prayer request, if you are struggling in an area in your life, I want to hear from you. If you just want me to add you to my prayer list and just keep you prayed up and just cover you each day when I pray, then send me an email at info@iamthepossible.com. info@iamthepossible.com, and just put the word prayer request in the subject line, just to let me know that I want to get to that one right away, and prioritize the email. So info@iamthepossible.com. Any prayer requests, I want to add you to my prayer list. You don't have to go into details. You ain't got to tell me all your business. I ain't gonna post nothing on Instagram or anything like that. I ain't gonna put your business out in the streets. It will be confidential. You don't have to go into great detail. You can keep it general, but just say, hey man, lift me up, in the area of my marriage, lift me up in the area of my finances. Guys, prayer has power. Prayer changes things. Okay. This is a platform of faith. I am a man of faith and I pray. Okay. And so if you just want that additional prayer power in your corner, please send me your prayer request. info@iamthepossible.com. And then lastly, guys, I want and need your support. If you are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any of the other popular podcast platforms that allow you to, number one, subscribe, please do so. Please subscribe. Download the episodes each week. Love for you to share in these experiences and share in these moments. Because again, you are my why. You are the reason I show up each week. Okay. Number two, tell somebody about it. Share this with a friend, coworker, family member, someone who needs that encouragement, someone who needs this information, right? There's someone in your life that needs that same word, that same encouragement, this same information. So why don't you share it with them? Be a part of this process. Be a part of this place, right? Where possibilities become perspective. So I invite you to partner with me by simply telling someone about this podcast. And then number three, guys, leave me a review. I would love to hear from you. Good, bad, or indifferent, right? Don't matter. I just want to hear the truth, hearing feedback, hearing suggestions, hearing, even topics that you would want me to cover. Getting that information is valuable to me. It lets me know that I'm ministering. It lets me know that I'm touching. It lets me know that I'm on the pulse of the people. It lets me know that, what I'm saying is relevant in this day and age, right? We just need that additional clarification and confirmation. And it also lets me know what to create going forward, right? So do me that favor and leave a review. All right, guys, that is it. Getting ready to wrap it up here. Guys, I pray again that this has been a blessing to you. I pray again that this has been an encouragement to you. And I am so excited about kicking off season 2 of the I Am the Possible podcast experience. Yes, season 2. We are in it. We are rocking. We are rolling. Listen, guys, until next time, this is Travell C.W. Lynch, Mr. What? Hello. Telling you that I am loving on you, praying for you, and believing in you. Until next time, peace.